Edith Morales tried to outrun the F5. She took cover at 7-Eleven with a handful of others.
They're digging, trying to find people.
In the storm's wake, a flood of volunteers, barefoot helpers, searched for survivors buried under soda, drywall, twisted metal.
We got flip cars, make sure nobody's there.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Hey guys, we gotta start checking these cars!
They found bodies instead.
We successfully got people out, just not alive.
Yeah, there's a few people didn't make it.
Edith Morales' daughter ran more than a mile to the 7-Eleven that used to stand here. She knew her mom was in the cooler. They had been on the phone together when the tornado hit and the connection was lost. Edith Morales rode out the storm with 3 others, Terry Long, Megan Futrell, and Megan's infant son.
I kind of looked around and I thought, there's no way she's okay.
Working in the shadow of Moore Medical Center was chaos. Authorities told Christina there were no survivors.
I said, my mom was here, she was in the cooler. I was on the phone with her, were there any survivors? And he said, no, there were no survivors. And I said, okay. Are you sure? Nobody, no one. He said, no, the only people we pulled out of here were not alive.
Firefighters had recovered several bodies at that point. She was asked to identify her mom from a picture.
I looked at the picture and I still couldn't tell. Looking at her, I said, I can't tell that it is her and I can't tell that it's not her.
Turns out Edith Morales had been pulled from the cooler at 7-Eleven alive. Rescued by strangers, rushed to Southwest Medical Center, her family had no idea. When her sister Janet Rudolph and her daughter Christina first saw her, she was drifting in and out of consciousness. She was barely there.
I tell you what though, someone up there's had their hand on my sister. I know this whole time because it's got to be a God thing.
Edith Morales' body had been battered by that tornado. Her spine was severed, 6 vertebrae splintered, right lung collapsed, both hands were crushed, every bone in her face was broken, along with a rib and both shoulder blades. Doctors said she would never walk again.
Her spine was broken in the front and in the back, so it hit her on both sides and it broke her spine.
The hospital personnel here, surgeons and all, said that the first responders finding her so quickly and getting her so quickly is what saved her life. And we want to thank them very, very much.
Surgeons stitched Edith back together, machines helped her breathe, but E. coli bacteria was destroying her healthy tissue. Infection was taking over. 3 days in, she flatlined.
Everybody came up and we just gathered around her, prayed and said, it's going to be fine, don't worry, and we're going to get through this, just keep on fighting.
They prayed, and she started to heal. Edith Morales fought her way from death's door. 50 days in the ICU this day.
Her life has been changed forever, and so is ours. And we just want everybody to remember her.
Because of the damage to her lungs, Edie has been on a ventilator the entire time, unable to speak until today.
Nice and loud. Take a deep breath in and talk nice and loud for us.
Hi.
How's that? Yeah?
Christina Morales last heard her mom's voice May 20th, that frantic cell phone call from 7-Eleven.
This is the first time I've heard her voice, so it's pretty amazing.
She is rediscovering her voice now, remembering moments she has wished to erase.
It was bad. The wind was screaming. And after that, I don't remember much now.
Edith has no recollection of her rescue, no idea until today. The others who had huddled with her in that 7-Eleven did not make it out alive.
I'm sorry they didn't make it. I'm surprised. I did. There's been times I didn't think I was gonna make it.
The weight of her own survival is crushing.
You're remarkable. From the day you got here to now, you have made more progress than anybody ever thought you would, honey.
I'm getting bigger, not bigger.
Not
I'm
bigger.
getting stronger.
Got stronger.
And this arm here is sewn to my side.
Surgeons sewed Edie's hand into her abdomen.
That's it. So it's all bandaged right here, and that's where it's attached to her stomach.
A workaround so skin could grow to cover the hand. They'll separate it later if it works.
Good Lord. Jesus, there ain't any other way. That was horrible.
Edith is paralyzed but anxious for progress. Hand-scribbled get-wells are a constant reminder of who's waiting at home.
Just to sit and watch my grandkids play and my kids. I hope I can run with them.
Before Edith can go home, though, she'll need long-term care, another huge challenge for Edie. You see, she doesn't have medical insurance.
She's fighting with everything that she has, and we're just at a point now where she needs a different level of care that we're fighting to be able to get for her.
Edith and her family are faithful. They are hopeful she will get the help she needs to continue her recovery. She has made it so far already. From the bottom of that pile of debris to the medical sanctuary of intensive care, Edith Morales lies in this bed paralyzed, struggling to breathe still, broken and yet blessed, grateful, reminded every day she is a survivor. Meyer, News Channel 4.